Any nation which continues year after year to spend more on the military than on social uplift is approaching spiritual death.
Yes.
Spiritual death.
Yes.
And I think that's something we need to be very mindful of. When we invest in those things, more militarism, instead of in the needs of the American people and of the people of the world, then we're approaching spiritual death. And with that, I'd like to call on Ladonna Blount to come up and give our next talk, because I think she's going to give us some particulars that fit right in with that sentiment. Please welcome Ladonna Blount of New Jersey Citizen Action.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. This year in New Jersey alone, over 53,000 people will face foreclosure, a 34% increase from last year.
How many? We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. 53,000 people this year will face foreclosure, which is a 34% increase from last year. 19% of New Jerseyans, that's children and adults, lack health care coverage. 1 in 4 single-parent family households live below the poverty line. And as more and more working families struggle to keep their homes, pay for basic needs like health care and heating their homes, many of us are just wondering why and how this happened. But some of us here, or most of us, we know why. It's because Bush and his allies, instead of addressing the country's real problems, continue to spend billions on the Iraq War and continue to imply spreading in future wars in Afghanistan and Iran. But this unjustifiable war has already cost our country more than $560 billion. That's about $25 billion here in New Jersey. And the long-term effects that this conflict has had on our economy are dire. Every day, the cost of this reckless war becomes more and more obvious as more and more of our infrastructure, things that we're all used to, fall into ruin. The Iraq War has wrecked our economy, and President Bush and his partners in Congress, they're choosing war over the health and well-being of us, of our people. And now we're in an economic meltdown where millions of families in New Jersey, all over the country, are struggling to make ends meet, and now the need to strive for diplomacy over endless war is clearer than ever.
Yes.
Yet Bush and his allies, they think nothing of keeping our troops bogged down in endless and reckless war, while using our resources and driving our entire country into bankruptcy. While people are suffering here because of job loss and loss of their homes, the Bush administration chooses to bail out Wall Street CEOs instead of the people most affected by the Bush administration's thoughtless and misguided policies all these 8 years that it's been going on. And while action needed to be taken to address the crisis in our financial markets, I mean, it was going to happen sometime, most Americans, for good reason, detest the idea of paying for the excesses of Wall Street CEOs while our needs at home are neglected. And that's exactly how I think most of us feel. I mean, I'm afraid sometimes to watch the news because it's so disturbing that I thought maybe if I didn't know I could live in a plastic bubble and, you know, things would be a little bit easier for, at least for me, I could like not pay any attention. But that's why it's time for us to call on Congress to invest in America's future and address our concerns, and bring real reforms to help real people affected the most by the recession.
Yeah.
Congress must end the war in order to have resources available to make investments, such as guaranteeing quality, affordable health care for all, reducing our country's dependence on foreign oil, creating jobs that can't be outsourced, investing in our national security, and assisting homeowners who are struggling to avoid foreclosure. We need real commitments from Congress and our next president to make those investments, not just have them talk about them in generic terms like, say, I care about health care or I care about creating jobs, but make actual commitments for legislation to do so. We can see more than ever that war is not the answer, and that spending on the war has made our financial institutions, families, and communities less secure. Security is more than just being safe from terrorism, as the administration would like to have us believe. Security is being able to earn a living, be able to have a secure retirement, provide food for your family, and have an affordable place to live. We cannot allow the future Congress and President and future President or current to continue to fund this immoral and unjustifiable war with so many human and financial costs to the American people. We must hold the next elected officials accountable to set a date for withdrawal of the troops and then use our resources to create a strong economic recovery package. Because a bailout, that's not a long-term solution to help America's problems, because that neither gets the economy moving nor really gets Americans back to work. Members of Congress should stand up to the Bush administration, but learn from its failures also, and oppose any further funding for the war in Iraq so that our country can move forward. By investing in healthcare, housing, aids to states, and renewable energy, we can build the economy from the bottom up, rather than wait for the crumbs to trickle down. Thank you.